In one of the company's most short-sighted endeavors, popular fashion brand Abercrombie & Fitch once found themselves in hot water after they attempted to recategorize their target demographic. Realizing that their image and brand was only being worn by what was considered the sorority and fraternity type of teenager, Abercrombie & Fitch did their research to find out what had seemingly kept the trend going. What they found was that popular Jersey Shore actor Mike the Situation Sorrentino was a fan of the brand and constantly wore Abercrombie & Fitch fashion on the show. The fashion line reached out to the Situation and pleaded with him to stop wearing the clothes, as it was damaging their brand, and they wished to take their clothing line in a different direction. Then they jump-started a bizarre advertising campaign with the claim that the Situation was unworthy of wearing Abercrombie & Fitch attire. The Situation responded with a lawsuit, claiming defamation, and Abercrombie & Fitch's stocks plummeted. They have since never been able to recorrect their target demographic. Opera singer Susan Boyle stunned international audiences when she appeared on Britain's Got Talent in 2009 with a gorgeous rendition of Les Mis' I Dreamed a Dream. She was quickly snatched up by a recording label hoping to capitalize on her talent and newfound fame, and began work on her first album, to be released a few months later. However, upon the album's release date, the PR firm responsible for online advertising made a blunderously hilarious mistake. They took to Twitter to come up with a hashtag that could start the conversation about Boyle's new album, but also be catchy enough to attract otherwise uninterested Twitter users. The hashtag they invented seems innocent enough and was just 3 words: Susan Album Party. But with no letters capitalized and all the words smashed together, the phrase gave the unfortunate appearance of hashtag Sue's Anal Bum Party. Upon realizing the gaffe, the PR team quickly attempted to delete the hashtag, but the joke had already begun to play out online, and soon everyone was not talking about Miss Boyle's singing talent, but about some risque bedtime moves. In another PR disaster using Twitter, popular tech giant BlackBerry was attempting to find a new employee for their marketing position of Research in Motion, known as the shorthand RIM. In an effort to let the public know they were hiring, BlackBerry's human resources team went to the popular social media site and nonchalantly created a hashtag so the position could be found. What they didn't realize was that the hashtag RIMJob has a double meaning, and that innuendo can attract some individuals not necessarily seeking employment at the popular phone company. The hashtag was swiftly deleted, but not before everyone was able to learn what BlackBerry enjoyed in the bedroom. In one of the most troubling and downright confounding PR disasters of all time, Rupert Murdoch's News Corp publishing line of HarperCollins tried to think of a book that would bring in thousands of readers and create a media sensation. While theoretically successful, the backlash they got for their plan wasn't exactly what they intended. In 2006, they hired ghostwriter Pablo Fenves to shadow O.J. Simpson in order to write the now famous book If I Did It, which graphically detailed the murders of O.J. Simpson's ex-wife Nicole Simpson and Ronald Goldman. While the book's subject was controversial enough, HarperCollins also suggested that the already inflammatory title should be even more extreme. So they hired a graphic designer to hide the word if as best they could, making the book's title seem as though it says I did it, rather than posting the theoretical. Readers were horrified and angered more than they were fascinated by the book, and News Corp stocks plummeted soon after. It seems nobody wanted to take a book written about murder by an alleged murderer who got away with his crime seriously. January 31st, 2007. Boston police receive a haunting anonymous tip. Someone has reportedly placed bombs all over the city. Kicking into action, the Boston police force soon finds the reported bombs: LED placards displayed in public with exposed wiring and electrical tape. Even stranger, each placard seems to display some sort of creature or sign that they cannot decipher. Soon, however, the head of Cartoon Network called police to complain why their marketing campaign materials were being taken down from their public spaces. As it turned out, the LED placards were not bombs, but rather used to advertise the upcoming Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie, and the strange LED designs on the placards were meant to be the famous cartoon characters. Police eventually re-released the placards to Cartoon Network and were at the center of a laughable PR failure. But even more curious was why the police didn't distinguish that the placards weren't bombs in the first place, and how long they had planned to keep the bombs in their possession if they weren't even going to look at them closely. In 2009, the US government themselves made a terrifying PR mistake that temporarily left the citizens of New York City fearing another terrorist attack. After deciding that a new promotional photo would better the department's image, the Department of Defense worked to schedule a photo op where a plane would be as close to the Statue of Liberty as possible, meaning that it would fly at near ground level. The reason behind this exact posing is unclear, but what was clear was the fact that no one seemed to get the proper clearance to pull this off. So on April 27th, the Department of Defense sent out the President's Air Force One without him on board to fly at ground level near a New York City that was devastated by a terrorist attack using planes just 8 years prior. Those who saw the plane flying at such a low level panicked and called police, reporting a new terrorist attack. New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg quickly called the White House, furious of what had just happened, and even President Obama became enraged at his own cabinet when he learned what had happened under his nose. The Department of Defense apologized, but still managed to get their precious photo op. One could say a lot of things about fashion brand American Apparel, but saying it is classy might be a bit of a stretch. Back when Hurricane Sandy made landfall, American Apparel decided to capitalize on the natural disaster by having a sale. Despite the civilian warning to either leave the premise or stay home, American Apparel promised 20% off everything in the store for the 36 hours remaining of the monster storm. They even took to Twitter and jump-started the hashtag Sandy Sale. As expected, there was harsh backlash, though it's unknown whether anyone actually attended the sale and found any good deals. To make matters even worse, the company instructed their employees to send emails to locals with the subject line "in case you're bored during the storm," which we have to admit is a pretty relaxed way to tell someone they should shop at risk of being killed by high-force winds. While Domino's Pizza wasn't entirely at fault for the actions of just 2 of their employees, the fact that it took them so long to respond to the controversy certainly didn't help with their public perception. In April of 2009, 2 wild and disgruntled Domino's employees took to YouTube to show off a number of deplorable and questionable acts with Domino's products while in the Domino's kitchen. While the videos don't exist, reports detail weirdly sexual acts with Domino's Italian sandwiches, as well as a bizarre nude dance where one employee rubs a kitchen sponge up and down his butt crack before using it to clean pots and pans. The videos immediately became some of the most viewed upon their release, and it took Domino's 2 whole days to finally respond to the public about the incident. They fired the employees and issued their apology, but the public perception had tanked so far that they never imagined they would recover. While the incident is viewed by the company as in the rearview mirror, Domino's has never been able to regain their spotless reputation. But at least Domino's didn't have to deal with the fallout that was awaiting Subway. For 15 years, television personality Jared Fogle became famous for being the Subway guy, a man who presumably lost weight because he only ate Subway sandwiches. He became the face of the company, appearing in nearly 100 commercials and even becoming a household name. He even went on to star in popular B movies Sharknado and Sharknado 2, before the truth about his personal life was finally brought to light. In July of 2015, Jared Fogle was arrested for possession of child pornography. The investigation continued, alleging that Fogle had not only collected child pornography for nearly 20 years, but had also engaged in illegal sex acts with minors and made disturbing sexual comments about children to friends and colleagues. After a number of complicated plea deal arrangements, Fogle was ordered to pay his victims back $100,000 each and was sentenced to 5 years in prison for his crimes. Subway quickly acted to sever its ties with Fogle, going to Twitter to announce that they were unaware of his personal life, did not endorse it, and would no longer use Fogle's image as their primary campaign. Since Fogle's arrest, Subway has yet to find another mascot or stand-in for how delicious their subs are. In 2001, the giant tobacco company Philip Morris decided to release the results of a study that proves smokers' deaths had positive effects financially for the Czech government. The study was conducted by the company itself as a response to the Czech government's argument that the financial costs of smoking outweighed its benefits. The company argued that smoking actually resulted in an annual profit for the government of about $147 million, including saving around $30 million in healthcare, pension, and public housing costs due to early deaths of smokers. Unsurprisingly, Philip Morris faced a huge public backlash as a result of the release, which was intended to create positive PR for an already struggling industry.